Great. Welcome, everyone. We'll open the meeting. Start off with the roll call. Anton?
Here.
Marlene?
Present.
Paul?
Here.
Bill? Present. Wanda? Wanda's absent. And myself, Mike, present. So we have a quorum. We start off with the minutes. Can we get a motion to accept the minutes for September 4th?
So moved.
Can we get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Committee reports. Finance, Amy, you want to talk about what we got for October?
Sure will. Good morning, everyone. So I'll start with the statement of financial position. We have 4.4 million in cash. We rolled over the CD into another 90-day CD in October. No liabilities to speak of. Moving on to budget versus actuals, our revenue year-to-date October is 308,000 compared to a budgeted amount of 251,000. The interest and earnings actuals will go up once I accrue the interest that we've been accruing on the CD. Total expenditures for the year are roughly 300,000 compared to 254,000. And this is mainly due to a higher than expected legal bill due to some ABO issues we had to correct and work with us on. So in all, our net revenue year-to-date October is $9,000 compared to a budgeted loss of $3,000. Any questions?
One question, I got an email from MT.
Yes.
What
That was, I didn't get the notice that it was renewing, so it was kind of just sitting in there, and I gave them.
But you have authority to do that, do you not?
Yes, but a lot of times M&T will reach out to another signer on there, so, yep, that's all taken care of.
Great, well, thank you.
So just on the cash position, of the 4.4, you got $1 million in the money market, that's totally liquid. Right?
Yes.
There's no breakage.
No.
And so we're carrying $450,000 just in liquid cash.
Yes.
Do we have any need coming up that should more of that maybe go into the money market?
I could, yeah, I mean, we could leave, whatever you're comfortable with, I could move 200,000 into,
Yeah, I just, take a look maybe at what you think their needs are over the next 3 to 4 months. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I
to
don't
put
think
food,
we
but
have-
it is a money market.
yeah, I don't think we have any, big expenses coming up at year end, so I can put,
And one last question on that, the collateralization, is there like at Trustco, we used to have a limit?
Everything's fully
Is there,
collateralized.
so it's unlimited as far as
yes.
that letter? Okay, great.
Yes. So we won't have that in the audit where there was a couple hundred thousand uncollateralized.
Good.
The rationale is, Bill, that the rate is higher in the money market. Is that what you're thinking?
So yeah, I can move that money.
Yeah, the checking account is gonna earn any
Right.
interest. You're checking.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So even I could even leave 100,000 because I can transfer online between the two.
Perfect. Okay, can we get a motion to move on the financials?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so moved. Great, thanks, Eddie.
Yeah.
Audit, Bill.
Our auditors, for the past several years, Seal Becker has declined to quote the audits for the IDA and CRC for this current year. They had the retirement of one of the senior partners that specialized in governmental accounting. So they didn't feel that they could really do the job. They just wrote a letter to us to that effect. They need solicited quotes from BST, Bonadeo, and UHY. We have not received a response from UHY, formal response, or they're considering it, but we need to kind of make some decisions going forward. BST is the auditor for the county. Their bid is the low bid both for the IDA and CRC. I know we're not here to deal with CRC issues, but their quote for the audit, and they have a long list of governmental clients for references. Very strong firm. Their bid is $9,500 for the audit. That compares to $8,300 for the audit last year with Quebec. So it is an increase, but Onadio's quote was $12,500, so it's $3,000 less. I think that the feeling is that we should sign on with BST and move forward with the 24 audit with BST.
Does anyone have experience with these two particular companies?
They're solid, both
Both?
solid firms. We, in the banking community, they're held in high regard,
Yes.
as well as UHY, who opted not to. And I think, Bill, your point about them meeting our deadlines as well.
Right.
They're all on board with, so we can file with the parish reports and also. Great. So we're recommending BST, right?
That would be my recommendation,
Super,
yes.
super. Can we get a motion to approve that?
Motion.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor? Opposed? Great. BST it is. So we just
I'll let
let
them
them
know.
know. Yeah,
Yep.
great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Yep, you're welcome.
Next business, we have a project. So Kevin, you want to give us a little overview, as maybe an introduction and then,
Well, yeah, I'm happy to, thank you. With us today is Stacy Waters. Stacy and her family have owned Belinsky's Sausage. They bought it from the original owners back in the 90s.
1983.
1983, 80s, so even
who's
longer.
counting, right?
Truly one of the longest running companies in the town of Colony. They're approaching their 100-year anniversary. The family that started it still is living right next to the plant. But let me introduce Stacy Waters. She is terrific, and it's been a pleasure to work with her for the last few years on this project. Stacy, this is
Okay, so you want me to kind of give an overview of what we're
Yes,
looking at?
please.
So, like Kevin said, we were founded in 1929, owned originally by the Belinsky's family, and we still operate from our original site in what is a mailing address of Cohoes, but technically the town of Colony. My family bought the company in 1983, and back at that time, the Belinsky company made old world sausages. Kielbasa, hot dogs. You guys might have grown up eating Belinsky bologna if you're from around here. And my father and grandfather kind of converted the company into a meat company that made deli meats, pastrami, ham, liverwurst, and of course the famous Belinsky's hot dogs. In the late 80s, my grandfather had a heart attack, and the company, my father realized that people were going to be a lot more health conscious moving forward after a lot of the food trends in the 70s and 80s, pretty unhealthy eating with heavily processed meats. And they decided that they would be innovators and create a new product line, which was sausage made from chicken. Now you guys probably see chicken sausage all over the place. Hopefully you only eat Belinsky's, but the idea, there was no such thing as chicken sausage at the time. This was in the late 80s. And so my parents created this product that was all natural. It was made from chicken, fresh vegetables, and spices. And it kind of really took off with a niche but national following from the start. So I grew up in this family business. And as an adult, I came back and joined the company and realized that we had something really special with our line of chicken sausage. The first thing that I did was to get an organic certification, because that was what I believed in, and making healthier foods and kind of raising the bar for meat raising standards. And gradually, we stopped making all of the other types of products we made at Belinsky's to focus exclusively on all natural and certified organic chicken sausage. We've really never changed our products from the start. They're made from ethically raised animals, so chickens raised without the use of antibiotics, or certified organic, no preservatives. We don't use an animal casing. Our sausages are skinless. They appeal to a wide variety of people that use our products in recipes or just on the grill. So we've been growing rapidly year over year. We're one of those, I guess, rare manufacturers that is focused on the food space and has always been in Albany County. During the pandemic, we experienced a huge amount of growth. And we're still in our original factory at 41 Lark Street in Cohoes, again, Colony. And with changing food trends, our products have only gotten more popular. We, a couple of years ago, embarked upon a search we reached our capacity at our existing facility, and we're still continuing to grow. We realized that it was time for us to bring on some additional capacity in manufacturing space. We did a nationwide search. With my hope being that we could find something close to home. I grew up around here too. My family's here. And we were, with a ton of help from your very persistent Albany County team. Kevin and Kevin helped with an extensive search in the area to see if there was something appropriate we could find in Albany County to not only keep the jobs that we have in manufacturing here, but also to create a lot more jobs in this region. And I'm really excited to say that we believe we've found a site that's appropriate, and that brings us to this proposal we have here to help Belinsky's to make the financial decision easier to stay local and to double our capacity and beyond, to continue to make our chicken sausages in Albany County and to grow my business here. So we're looking for your support to help us with our expansion and the acquisition of the new site, which I guess is still super secret. So I don't know.
My next question.
Yeah, feel free to talk about the site
Yeah.
and what you have done at that site already with the current stand.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the goals here are so that we can stay here, we can continue to make our products and add manufacturing jobs, not just manufacturing jobs to our site, but to also jobs in all different skill levels. In administrative positions, sales positions, highly technical, quality control, quality director positions, research and development, and so on. So the site that we're working on now is a manufacturing site that is relocating its jobs, unfortunately, out of the area. In the anticipation of our commitment to this area, we've been holding some job fairs with the teams that are relocating and losing their jobs in this area. And I'm really pleased to say we're going to be, if all goes forward as planned, retaining a ton of really awesome people in manufacturing in this region. We've extended offers and, from purchasing to IT to manufacturing to site management. If our project goes forward as we expect, then we'll be adding a significant number of new jobs, and not only that, retaining jobs here, retaining that talent here in the capital region in Albany County. So I'm really excited about that. To give you an idea of the scope, so some of you may have a idea of what Belinsky's was back in other times. Under my tenure as the CEO of Belinsky's, we have gone from a very regional player making a very small amount of specialty old world sausage to making between 150 and 200,000 pounds of chicken sausage every single week that we ship all over the country. We make Belinsky's brand, which you can see in stores all over the country. We also make a lot of private brand chicken sausage. So if you buy chicken sausage at any of the major grocery stores around here with the store label on it, and it's an all natural or certified organic chicken sausage, odds are Belinsky's makes that too. And we do, unlike a lot of food brands out there in this world that do what we call co-packing. They hire another manufacturing plant to make their product, and all they do is sell and market it. We make all of our own products, and we do that all right in the town of Colony. So we do everything from making the product to selling and marketing it all over the country. So by helping us out with this project, we'll be supporting that growth industry and very on trend but extremely stable food manufacturing, better for you foods that is only going to be increasing in popularity and adding jobs to this area. Anything else you think I should cover?
Just the piece of equipment that you want to add, that there isn't one anywhere in the.
Yeah, okay. So, a lot of what we do right now, we have space to do all of our processes here in our existing facility. So part of this expansion, we'll be adding, hopefully some pasteurization equipment and other like distribution and finishing equipment for our operation, so that we can do everything here in New York State and in the county of Albany. So right now, so there's a piece of equipment. If you ever see a sausage manufacturing plant, which hopefully you haven't seen Belinsky's at some point, it's a full scale factory. We make our products the old fashioned way. Imagine like your kitchen, if you had a KitchenAid grinder and mixer, really what we're doing is just like you would make sausage in your own kitchen, but scaled way up. This equipment is large. We're making a lot of sausage. And right now, we ship all of our product out of state to pasteurize it, which is something that we do in the package to preserve shelf life. And that's something we don't have the space to do here. So by increasing our capacity, we're able to insource all of our manufacturing operation and add the jobs that go along with that side of the operation as well. So part of what we're looking to do in our project is to help fund some very large and expensive equipment that helps us to do everything that we do within our own factory. And also by giving us that extra capacity, it saves a lot of the environmental impact of trucking things all over the place between our process, which doing everything on site is going to be better for efficiency, better for the environment, and also cost effective. So we're hoping that you will support our project to keep all of this great stuff here, and I'm very happy to answer any questions, without giving away too many of our proprietary information during this early stage, because this is, while this has been a long time coming, and we've been out of capacity at Belinsky's, it's still in the early stages of bringing this product to its final fruition.
Great overview.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, great.
You
Anyone
make
have
a
any
very
questions?
compelling argument for our help. I really appreciate that. And honestly, I don't know that I've seen another business owner come to the table and bring so much information about the company's history, et cetera. So does your company have a statement on diversity, equity, and inclusion?
We do in our handbook. I'm sure that can be part of our applications too. One thing that you will see if Belinsky's is a very broad-based employer with bringing in skill sets and types of people that really are a cross-section of our community. And I think that's one of the great things about manufacturing, is that there's so many different, skill sets and expertises involved that it really attracts people that are reflective of the community. And I think our demographics will show that. And it's something that happens naturally with the character of the work we do, and also, our commitment to the community. So I think, so yes, we do. I could provide whatever later, but it is certainly part of Belinsky's mission. I should say we're a mission-driven company. Our focus is to have organic and healthier, better for you foods that remain affordable and accessible to everyone. We think everyone deserves high quality food, and that's organic. So we support the Regional Food Bank. We support Capital Roots and other sort of organizations that help to bring food to food deserts and have that food be healthy and natural and close to the source. So. And I also, as you can see, we're a woman-owned business. We're essentially a 50-50 split as far as the company goes on a gender basis. And definitely one of the rare, I would say, woman-owned and led manufacturers, certainly in the meat industry especially, but manufacturing more broadly.
You're a little early on. Have you identified a contractor to help you with the project? Is that
Well, that is, we're hoping that we can have, broad base of community support and have been kind of tabling those final decisions because we know certain requirements and also we want to make sure we involve people from the local community. So what we have done so far is engage a food plant engineering firm that is helping us with site work and planning because it is very specific to our industry. We have not yet acquired the property that we're looking at. We're in the contract due diligence process with a specific site, so it would be preliminary for us to engage specific contractors.
any other questions?
Just as far as job creation, I think it's a great project that will bring in jobs that are currently being done out of state. As far as the construction jobs, I noticed there's some wages listed. Do you know where the wages were derived from for general labor and skilled labor?
Based on our existing, you mean the manufacturing jobs that we're creating or the construction?
Construction jobs. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's probably just based on prevailing wages in the area, right?
You probably Shayla put that together.
Okay, yeah.
We would have had Stacy is the consulting firm to help with the application, and they dug deep and looked at different numbers to plug in, so.
Yeah, and those were for budgetary purposes. For the manufacturing jobs, those are based on our current labor force and what we're hoping to do moving forward, which are higher than the average wages for the area.
One of the things, Chairman, I'd like to point out, as we do with all projects in front of the IDA, we've commissioned a third-party economic impact statement, and as you could imagine from Stacy's presentation, the impact is very positive on our county, our tax revenues, our job numbers, and so on. Again, this is, not only on the numbers, but just, as Stacy said, this company has deep roots in this community, and, the Waters family has certainly exhibited that, and, it's really the kind of poster child. I believe that, taking it back one generation, Mr. Polinsky, despite the health concerns, is still living across the street from the plant that over 100 years old.
Absolutely. He's over 100 years old, lives in the, Belinsky's is actually looks to be in a residential community. Although we're industrially zoned in the town of Albany, the access paths to us are through the city of Cohoes and all the neighborhoods there. And our property, Joseph Belinsky, the founder of Belinsky's, actually had a large garage in his backyard where he initially made all of his kielbasa and other old world sausages to sell to his neighbors. He drove a small truck that actually had a block of ice you put in the top to keep it refrigerated. We have a picture of it still. And so when my family bought the company in 1983, I was just a kid, but I did live through that. The three houses surrounding Belinsky's were owned by the Belinsky family members. So they essentially lived on the site of the factory, which did become a factory in the 50s rather than being someone's garage. So it's not a garage. And so those houses were subdivided out of the property when my parents bought it, and the Belinsky's still surrounding there. And I think that really shows, it's kind of like the roots of manufacturing in this region, right? These are people that, that came here and built businesses in manufacturing as part of their lives, selling to the communities. So, we're hoping to keep our community status by staying in that region and continuing to support all of the jobs in the area. We do have a number of employees that even walk to work from the residential areas. Yeah, so it's very, it's kind of like what you imagine manufacturing is. We are like that in real life.
The other thing, the last sentence here, the description on page 12, depending on the growth, you may be able to instead of now you have to go outsource the HPP work to out of state, you could become the supplier of that to other companies with potential growth long term.
Yeah.
So not only is this good for your current needs, but this shows this project could potentially actually help you grow bigger in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, by bringing, and I don't want to go too into the details of the whole plan, but by bringing all of those capacities in-house, we'll have extra capacity potentially to benefit other food manufacturers in the region. It'll also give us the capability to make a lot more sausage under our brand and also other store brands and, you know, potentially other companies even as a co-packer in the area. So it's really adding a whole capability to the region that is scalable, unlike the, you know, the very space limited building we're in now. So it'll be a much bigger operation. We will have potentially continue to have 2 sites and lots of room to grow and to plan for the future. And you know. In manufacturing of what we do with extra space, you can add additional lines as well. So it's not a matter of, you know, we have 2 production lines from beginning to end in our facility right now. And in additional space, we can scale by just adding more parallel lines, which, you know, add capacity with every additional line added through. So it is very scalable up to, you know, 4 or 5 times our existing volume.
Great. Any other questions for Stacy? Great. Chris, you want to take us through what we're voting on here today?
Sure. This resolution is a simple one. It's just moving forward with a public hearing relating to this project. It just authorizes a public hearing be held because more than $100,000 in financial assistance be provided by the IDA in connection with the project.
Very good. Everyone have an opportunity to ask your questions. Can we get a, you know, vote in favor of moving this along?
I'm up for that.
Can we get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. So moved.
Thank you very much.
Great.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
your
Thanks for
support.
coming in. Good
Absolutely.
luck on the project.
Thank you.
Okay, next, we have an amendment here to the UTEP policy. Kevin or Chris, you want to sort of walk us through what we're looking at here today?
Yeah, just to refresh everybody's recollection, if it needs any refreshing being done. We submitted, we held a public hearing on some amendments to our uniform tax exemption policy, which is what UTEP stands for. And we received a significant amount of feedback on that, on one particular aspect of the policy, which we have since dropped. And that was the noticing of, waiver of noticing and approval of local government. But the 2 other pieces in the, of the UTEP policy, which we received no negative comments on whatsoever, were the fixed dollar payment aspect of providing pilot payments, and the matrix that you all have suggested we use in determining pilot payments. So those are, and neither of these, you know, met with any opposition or were concerned by anybody. So these are recommended for your consideration.
Great, great. And the fixed payment, just so I'm familiar, is just so the project applicant has determination as to, you know, what they're paying.
Yeah, it's really to provide a level of certainty for the applicant. We had a situation in the community where we had a pilot agreement in place as a percentage of assessed value. And we all went ahead and approved that. The company made substantial, it was a very large project, company made substantial investments. And the local assessor, as it turned out incorrectly, almost doubled the assessment of the company, thereby doubling their pilot payments. And, you know, the company came back to us and said, hey, you know, what gives here? We thought we had a pilot agreement. So, you know, this just makes it very clear to everybody. And again, we don't do pilot payments in the community unless we have the support and cooperation, which we thought we did in this other community. And it got ugly. There was a lawsuit filed, you know, a certiorari proceeding. It was exactly what we never wanted. Even the municipalities didn't want that to happen. It just got very messy. And this just takes all the uncertainty out of that and makes it very certain that the pilot payment will be a specific dollar amount usually with an escalator in it, and gives the certainty to the taxing jurisdiction as well as to the IDA applicant.
Great. All righty. Any questions?
Chris, anything you'd add
No,
to that?
perfectly summarized, perfectly.
Bill?
Yeah, I do have a question. Does this fixed dollar payment, does that lock out percentage increases in the tax rate? In other words, in this particular instance that we're looking at here is a 15-year deal. I mean, taxes naturally go up a couple of percent, whatever. This sounds like what we're putting in place will not account for increases in the tax rate. You know, I understand the desire to have a fixed payment, if that's a certainty on the part of the applicant as to what they're getting into, but at least in my experience with tax payments, under pilot agreements, you know, your assessments are kind of locked in, and your step up from where you're starting to where you're going to, that's prescribed. But at least the ones I've dealt with in the past, you're still subject to, you know, the taxes in the municipality, your school district go up 2%, but, you know, you're gonna get that bump. Does that exist in this, or?
No,
Unless there's an escalator
Yeah,
incorporated in the
you
documents.
know, and again, I just want to make it clear, we have not concluded our discussions with the town of Colony on the Belinsky pilot agreement, so that's not what we're talking about here. But, you know, as Chris said, Bill, it does limit the tax payment. Usually when we negotiate a fixed dollar tax payment with a municipality, there is usually an escalator in there of, what are we usually, 1, 2, 3,
yeah.
something like that. You know, 2% is the cap.
Right.
That's
So our policy doesn't allow for that then, Chris?
Yeah, that's not prohibited under our UTEP as amended.
Pardon me?
That escalator would not be prohibited by the amended UTEP. That
Okay.
concept is okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
But that would all be spelled out ahead of time, so that the fixed payments doesn't mean flat payments, it just means fixed.
Right, oh, absolutely.
That's what
And
the-
Tom,
just to
it is not, you know,
clarify.
these are usually, you know, I don't know, 10, 12, 15-year pilot payments, and it's usually, you know, a gradual step up. Maybe in the first year or two, there are no payments, you know, it gives the applicant a period of time to get their project built and done, you know, while it's not generating any revenue, so that there won't be any additional tax. And then the remaining years of the pilot steps up to full tax payment.
The only other thing I would add is the UTEP calls for, you know, we have different categories of abatement, you know, a 10-year pilot, a 12-year pilot, a 15-year pilot. The IDA staff would make a written recommendation to the full board about which category of abatement this pilot should get, the length of the pilot, the abatement schedule. So that's an added feature in the new UTEP, if adopted.
Okay. We get a motion.
I'll move to pass as amended.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. So moved. Great.
Thank you.
Kevin, any further closing comments? or-
Yeah, just one, you know, we've talked several times about the Carver companies down in Queens coming in for their new headquarters. You may have seen in the newspapers that Mr. Laraway bought the old Albany Molecular headquarters up in Corporate Circle. And I did have some conversations with the Carver companies, and it just was a simple economic question. The cost of building new far surpassed the cost of buying existing, which, you know, we hear quite a lot about in the area that, you know, the cost of building from ground up right now is just, you know, very expensive because of the cost of materials. And they have they bought a Class A building up in Corporate Circle, met all their needs. not down at the Port of Queens, but still, so they will not be coming into us to do a project for the new headquarters down in the Port of Queens. There is, however, still significant interest and activity. We are under non-disclosure agreement on an extremely large development in the offshore wind industry. It's contingent upon some federal funds being made, but this is, probably an investment of $1 billion to $1.5 billion, which they would like to come through the IDA as if and when. So that's, I think, probably could possibly be the largest project that the IDA has ever, done. But there's a lot of, the state, and this is real, and we are under non-disclosure agreement, but the CEO of the company, it's a European-based company, has met with the Governor Hochul, and the state is coming in a big way. The one thing that I would like to just get everybody thinking about, in some of the preliminary discussions we have had with the company, they have asked for a 30-year pilot. It is somewhat atypical for what we did. I think the Lafarge Wholesome plant was a 20-year pilot, Joe, if I'm correct, 20 years.
That's my memory, Kevin, yes.
But there are other projects. The Wolfspeed semiconductor plant up in Utica has a 30-year pilot. Of course, Micron in the town of Clay is looking, and these are $1 billion plus, with Micron, I think it's, $100 billion over, some period of time. So that's something we're going to have to, figure out and think our way through. But even with a 30-year pilot, the increase in property tax revenues, if this project occurs, would be transformative to that community and to the county. So, we'll see that there is some, overhang at the federal level with what the new administration is going to do vis-a-vis energy policy. But there is still quite a bit of action going on. Our staff, myself and staff, will be going down to the offshore wind conference in April, is it?
Yes.
So, we're still actively marketing the region for that. Big stuff there. So that concludes my report.
Okay, great.
Does
Kevin,
anybody
who's
have any questions?
Who's the applicant on that?
I can't divulge that, sorry.
Anybody have any questions for Kevin?
One other thing, Mike, I did have the pleasure of presenting to the Ravenna Freeman's Business Association at Marlene's invitation. It was really a fun night. They held it in a great brew pub right on the main drag there in Ravenna, and really nice event. And the town supervisor was there. I don't believe the mayor was there. Mayor of Ravenna.
No, we had Caitlin Appleby, the village trustee, who represented the
That's right.
mayor that night.
But so I want to thank Marlene for inviting me down and spreading the gospel according to the Alliance Economic Development.
Okay. Can we get a motion here to conclude the meeting?
Sure.
Can we get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, nay? Adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Now, one thing we're going to do, we need to have a meeting of the CRC audit committee just to make a